Welcome to Symmetrics. In this training video, we're going to walk through high-skilled analytics. Now, obviously, Symmetrics platform at this point, in terms of its product features, is showing a lot of analytics around high-skilled jobs. That said, we do have in the near future for medium skilled and low skilled as well. And so this training video focuses on high skill analytics at a nutshell by looking at some of the dashboards or key performance indicators, KPIs, um, or insights, whatever we want to call it. It is information and data presented to you, which is very useful. And so we are going. The agenda is going to be: we'll walk through a high skill dashboard, we'll walk through some industry KPIs, and we will look at some job family KPIs. So this gives you an overall view of the high skilled state of the industry, and also for your specific use case. Let's say you want to look at what is the most popular job title under a particular job family, or you want to know what is the most popular um, industry in terms of the wages paid, what is trending, and so on and so forth. Right, the industry is very big, and so you want to have some clear definitions around it. So let's jump in. Before we jump into details, let's quickly go through the overview of the Symmetrics platform. um, it's a unique HR tech and analytics platform unifying job seekers, recruiters, and employers, most cases bringing harmony to the tensions or the dynamics between the three roles in the HR tech industry. So, what's the current problem or opportunity for improvement in the industry is candidates changing job journey is generally very inefficient with a lot of uncertain information. The information is very asymmetric. Um, New job wage is mostly dependent on previous wage, though that is changing. It is still the case in majority of the uh, journeys. Negotiation discussions are a hit or a miss. They are not necessarily data driven, and hence there is job remorse that job seekers or candidates have. The recruiters and staffers, the brokers in between, who may always have struggle making a fair deal between the candidate and their client, which is the employer. And without a fair match, there is no loyalty, and without loyalty, the the overall harmony is disturbed. Employers always want to hire more new employees, talented employees. Yet, how do they know that they are paying them properly, that they are treating them properly, or it's a fair deal that they have hired the candidate for? And also, employers always want to scale. They want to establish new offices, for example. But how do they decide where to establish? How do they decide what talent to hire for? How do they decide um, whom to ask for help, support, which recruiter and staffer? And if it is immigration, which law firm do they go to? So all of that data and information is present in Symmetrics, and hence there are use cases for each of the three roles in the Symmetrics platform. From a vision perspective, we are a benchmarking platform. We give trustworthy benchmark analytics because of all of our data is employer and government verified. They are not end user submitted. We help talent access and mobility, and we integrate with course providers, assessment platforms, and job boards. From an account registration, use cases, success stories, and how-to videos, you're welcome to visit the website. For all other inquiries, you can write to that email. All right. Without further ado, let's step into the platform. But before we step into, let's quickly review the agenda once again. We're going to review three dashboards: high skill dashboard, industry KPIs, and job family KPIs. Right. When you first log into the platform with a free account, um, you might end up seeing the graphics with the previews like this, or if you would not prefer seeing graphics, you could always switch to a list view. Okay. Now you can search for various dashboards through various fields, um, and we have already explained in many training videos how to do that. In this case, what we are looking for is a high skill dashboard, so I'm going to search for high. Okay, and I got the high skill dashboard. Go ahead and click that. And what you find here is, on the left, you'll find an year. Year is very important and necessary because We have data since 2001, and it is almost incomprehensible to dump all that data from 2001 till date onto a single dashboard, and hence we filter it by year. Yearly analysis makes sense and is models more the reality. So let's as soon as you select the year, you'd find a couple of insights. The first thing what you'd find is the total number of high skilled jobs in the year 2022 is at least 1.03 million, right? So that's the total number of, just to put things in perspective, the population of US is about 330 million, and in 1 year, 1.03 million high skilled jobs were hired. The total number of different employers that participated in this job hiring is about 62K. And what is the average pay? On the lower end it is 118K, and on the upper end it is 128K. What is the total amount of salary uh, cumulative that was um that was put in the offer letter given to all these candidates in 2022 is about $132 billion. That's a big number. From a US map in terms of which state hired the most and so on, you could see, you could hover over each of the states, and it is a no surprise that California would be the largest hirer of high skilled jobs. So it's about 209K. Next is Texas, then comes Washington, then comes New York, then comes Illinois, and so on and so forth, right? um, Now, among all those jobs, how many have been certified by the US government? About 92% of them have been certified. That means they have been deemed correct in terms of its job description, in terms of the salary paid, and so on and so forth. And there were certain withdrawn from the employers, about 1.79. The unknowns are generally still undergoing review, and so the folks might have already been started working in them. So unknown could be added to the certified in majority of the cases, though we cannot be 100% sure about it. And then there will be a certain denied as well, which would be a very low percentage generally, but they'll still be there, about 5K jobs out of the 1.03 million jobs. Now, the number of total different industries represented as part of those employers are about 1.78K. What is the total number of different postal codes? The locations where these jobs got hired is 12.6. The total law firms is because there's quite a bit of immigration in the high skilled jobs, right? The tech jobs. So generally, a law firm is required to file a case for, let's say an H1B job or an H1B1 job, or an E5 category job, whatever that is, right? And so you require legal assistance, and hence there are about 6.09K different law firms that helped process these cases. And all the 51 states in the US have hired high skilled workers in the past year 2022, and the total number of job types, which is different job types. And there is a standard hierarchy for job types, as there is a standard hierarchy for industry as well, which we will show in a moment. And there are about 1.08 K job types. Now, from an approval trend year to year, just to put things in perspective, in 2001 we had overall about 288K, and you can see the trend kept on increasing until 1.03 million is what we see in 2022, right? So you can see how popular these high skill jobs are. From a wage trend, obviously with inflation taking into account, uh, the salary has to rise, but you could see that the salary of the high skilled workers kept on increasing, with the lower wage anywhere between 118K to an upper wage of 127K, which is significantly higher than any other skilled, medium skilled, or low skilled workers, right? So we would expect the next year 2023 to be higher than this is in the following the same trend. while this is represented in graphical charts, you can also see tabular charts so that you can search if you'd like to. So let's say, for example, I want to see in Virginia, what is the average rate of pay on the higher side. I could see this number here. Um, so you could search on these individual states, or you could search for the cities themselves and look for, what are these numbers on the higher end, right? So this gives you a quick overview of um, the high skilled state of the industry in the past year, 2022. Now let's go back to the agenda and look at a few more dashboards, industry KPIs. As I previously mentioned, there is a standard hierarchy of industry. Now, industry, for some people, they would say high tech industry. Well, is high tech industry, what does it mean? For a medical professional, it might mean a high end medical devices company. For a software engineer, it could mean the Facebook Apple gang. For a chemical engineer, it could mean something else. So, how do you bring a common view for what is an industry? And there is a standard hierarchy for that. And let's go and take a look at industry KPIs, which is what gives you a standard hierarchy. And in the filter here, you could select the industry. So in the year 2022, for the industry, custom computer programming services. So this is a standard definition given by the US government. And the technical term for it is called NAICS, NAICS code, NAICS, NAICS code. And so, we follow the NAICS to give you a certified and a no confusing way of calling an industry, and not go into the eyes of the beholder type of scenario where each person would use different terms to mean the same thing, right? Anyhow, so for the custom computer programming services, as you can see, the first thing what you would see is these are the top industries in the high skilled jobs for the industry custom computer programming services. And obviously, this industry hired the most high skilled workers. Okay, and the size of the word here corresponds to um, the number of jobs relatively with the others. So the next industry that hired the most is computer systems design services. These are no surprises, as you know, software industry, high tech industry, information technology are the ones that hire the most. But that said, you could also see there are others like data processing, hosting, and related services. You could see software publishers. You could see colleges, universities, and professional schools. So all of these industries hired high skilled workers. And if you see the pie in terms of how many were approved, about 92.42. This is the same from the high skill dashboard we have just shown. So the total industries that participated are about 1.57K, out of which, if we see custom computer programming services paid anywhere between 104K to 110K, which is a pretty high salary, and the government accepted minimum salary for that is about 94.3K. Okay. Now, the total count by each industry is also presented in a table here. And you can see there are more than 1,000 records, and you could search for each of those records. I don't know. Let's say, for example, hospitals. Is there a hospital? There you go. You have general medical and surgical hospitals, general medical and surgical hospitals, and so on and so forth. Right. Each of these hired in different numbers. Right. Um, Now let's take, for example, chemical, right? Is there a chemical? There you go. You have chemical uh, industries as well. So you could see those numbers in terms of what is the popularity, how many high-skilled jobs they have hired, and so on. Now the industry wage, in terms of the average rate of lower end, higher end, and the government accepted minimum presented in a bar chart. uh, who are the top 10 employers in the custom computer programming services. In terms of the numbers, you have TCS, which is Tata Consultancy Services. Then you have Infosys. These are the Indian multinational companies which provide a lot of IT workers to a lot of the high tech firms in the United States. And then you have Tech Systems, Tech Org is the legal name for it, and so on and so forth, right? In terms of the number of jobs for that particular industry. And the same thing presented in a tabular format, right? You could search for it. Now let's change the industry, right? Let's say you want to see for I don't know, general medical and surgical, and let's apply. And instantly you can start seeing which hospitals, which employers in the general medical and surgical hospitals, and how many high skilled workers did they hire, right? And top 10 employers, right? The same thing in bar, the average rate of pay, minimum, maximum, and the overall perspective, right? And so on and so forth, right? So you can see all of these values in the industry KPIs. Now, let's take a look at the third dashboard, which gives you a flavor of what high skilled analytics are, job family KPIs. So let's go for job family, and let's take a look at job family. Now, while industry is a categorization of the employer or the company, the job family is a categorization of the job title, right? So there is a standard hierarchy where all job titles fall as well. So in this case, for the year 2022, software developers applications is a job family, right? And then you can see what is the total job count, um, and you can see what is the lower end and higher end of the salary that got paid for the job family, and then for this job family, what is the certified rate, what is the share of the certified jobs, how many were withdrawn, how many were denied, so on and so forth. And then you have the wage represented as the bars, and the same wage, what are the top 10 job titles within the job family, right? So software engineer, software developer, senior software engineer, and so on and so forth. In the order of descending order is are all the job titles under this job family, software developer applications, and the same thing represented as a in a tabular format, right? So you can search for various job titles under this. Let's take another example. Let's take I don't know, mechanical electrical engineers, and then apply. And electrical engineers is a job family. Under the electrical engineers, all of these are job titles, right? In this table you can see electrical engineer, silicon engineer, RF engineer, controls engineer. All of these are under the electrical engineers family, and then you can see the top 10 jobs and so on. So just with these three dashboards, the amount of information that you could glean and get an idea of the high skilled um, state of jobs, industries, companies is immense. And equipped with this kind of information, you could plan your career. You could do 100 things. You could figure out how much wage you are expecting. You could figure out your next job. You could figure out your next employer. You could figure out your next location. This quite a ton of which what you can do with this platform. So hope you had a good understanding of high skill analytics. Obviously there's a ton of more data that you can get and make it a little bit more convenient for you in the paid plans. The paid plans include multi-value selection. For example, you could select multiple years, and you could select multiple states. You could select multiple industries at the same time. Though you could also do with the free plan by doing it in steps, whereas the paid plans will let you do all at once. You could have the dashboard sent to email as a screenshot. We could send automated notifications. You could download the CSV data. If you want any other custom data, or you have any other custom requests, all of this is included in the paid plans. All right, with that said, thank you for your time, and thank you for your eyes.